Steve Edelman joins us, an attorney specializing in sports venue liability and security. He's based in Arizona, but he's familiar with L.A. venues. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
It was news to me that the San Francisco police cast such a wide net, a big radius around the stadium after games in anticipation of trying to stem events perhaps just like this.
Well, Officer Esparza referred to the rivalry package, and that's something which is done in other cities that have an obvious rivalry, Dodgers-Giants being one of them, Red Sox-Yankees, for example. So that is to be expected. But I think that the issue for your listeners is whether this is actually a sports event-related issue or whether it's about people who handle their rivalries in a really bad way. And I think the latter is actually what we're dealing with. Let's look at the timing and location because those matter a great deal as the story is developing right now. The timing. Officer Esparza told us that the victim and his relations left AT&T Park, where the Giants play, much before the game was over and before the 11:30 stabbing. They left the ballpark around 10. The stabbing took place at 3rd and Harrison Streets, which is roughly 4 blocks away from the ballpark. That is a neighborhood which is located relatively close to the ballpark. All that means, though, is that police were in the area because it's the same general neighborhood as the ballpark. The stabbing didn't take place inside the stadium. It didn't take place in a parking lot right outside the stadium. Didn't take place on a walkway contiguous to the stadium. It just took place in a neighborhood nearby. That would be the same as, if any of your listeners know where Fenway Park is, in Kenmore Square. That's on the other side of the Massachusetts Turnpike from Fenway Park. There's a significant police presence because it's close to Fenway Park. But that's not necessarily a sports-related event. It could happen anytime because there are a lot of people there, and that's near where the ballpark is. So the timing suggests that this wasn't something which a police presence would normally address, and the location, 4 blocks away, it's not actually next to the ballpark. So I think the takeaway point here is this was a rivalry issue which could have happened anywhere. The fact is it took place near the ballpark on a game night, but this was a function of people who used their loyalty to the Giants in a completely inappropriate way against people who showed their loyalty to the Dodgers. And that's the issue. And that could have happened in downtown L.A. or downtown Chicago or any place. Fortunately, it happened in an area where there was a significant police presence, although obviously not close enough to stop the altercation from becoming a fatal one.
We only have about 30 seconds. Have you seen in your experience that incidents like this are ramping up across the country? Is there something more intense going on than just what we've seen in these 2 incidents?
I don't think so. And it's hard to say because there are so few. The sample size is tiny. Your listeners are obviously sensitive to the Brian Stowe incident, which is basically this one that we're now talking about turned on its head. But statistically, these are exceptionally rare. And that's good news for sports fans, as well as fans of a civilized society.
Steve Edelman is an attorney who specializes in sports venue liability and security.